Okay, we're going to do another technique now, and we're going to talk a little more about this purchase of a house, your first time home buyer. This is my
Mhm.
daughter Allison, and she's going to be my client, and I'm going to be the therapist. And we're going to use a technique that is used to help the client identify their core beliefs. And what we mean by core beliefs is core beliefs that are beliefs that are very deep down that we often don't even realize we believe. And typically, core beliefs have to do with beliefs about ourselves, beliefs about other people, beliefs about God, and beliefs about the future. So I'm going to ask those four questions a little bit later in the exercise, but I'm using the acronym PLAIN. The idea is you're making core beliefs plain. And we're going to talk about the emotional kind of intensity of being first time home buyers and some of the feelings that my daughter Allison had in respect to that. So let's just jump in here, Allie. So you guys have just are in the process of purchasing your first home, correct? Yeah. And it's been emotional
Oh my goodness, it's been a nightmare.
and 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 so much so that you're wearing shades because the future is so bright, you had to wear shades. So anyway, um, you I remember you talking about when you finally got to the place where you'd found a home, it was right at the top of your budget,
Mhm.
but it was just everything that you wanted.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying some things about deservedness and deserving um, a nice place and how that was a bit of a hurdle for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I think, I've been an artist most of my life and I have dreamed of owning a home and I've dreamed of stability. Art has always been hard work for very little return. And to finally be at a place in my life where there is some return feels unreal. It almost like my brain is programmed to believe that um, if anything different than what I'm used to, it is bad or like,
Mhm.
not the biggest home, but it's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
And so it just like, it brought me to tears when the our offer was accepted because it was like this isn't real. This isn't what I'm used to. I'm used
So,
to scrimping and scrounging, so
right.
how is it that I get something so nice?
And so you end up like asking questions about deservedness. Like I typically get struggle and less than beautiful. And I've accepted that because I'm an artist trying to make it, and that's just the artist way. But now I'm getting something really nice and I can afford it and it's beautiful and I feel like it's too good for me. And
Mhm.
I'm waiting for another shoe to fall, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for something, to pop my bubble here because this is just
Yeah.
true, right?
Good.
Um,
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So we accepted the offer or they accepted the offer on Sunday,
yeah,
and Monday and Tuesday were like high anxiety days for John and
that's
I. We're
incredible.
just
Freaking out.
like, yeah, we're like, it's not, wait, no, like we can't
Yeah, B.
do this. It's,
So I want to make a space for that emotion that threw you into that anxiety for a couple of days, okay? So just kind of stay with that emotion right now and just give yourself permission to let yourself feel that thing. And we're going to try to probe it and understand the thinking behind that emotion, which is what I call a core belief, okay? So the first of the PLAIN acronym is permission. I have just asked her permission to stay with that emotion. Just let's make a space for that emotion here. And then the second step is L, label. So tell me, Allie, from your knowledge of emotion words, label that emotion for me.
uh,
That feeling of this is too good to be true.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a good one.
And it can be a couple of things.
I I think there's a feeling of like imposter syndrome. Like I faked my way here.
Being busted, like you're going to be busted, or
I think another feeling that came up more for John than for me,
yeah.
but I definitely felt it too, was like everyone was out to get us. Like there was this conspiracy between the lender, the realtor, and the
Oh my
inspector.
goodness.
Like they're all just trying to get us to buy a house, and maybe they don't really know what they're doing, and we're gonna get a house that's ready to fall apart the moment we buy
Booby
it.
trapped. It's booby trapped. It's going to blow
Yeah.
up in the face. Yeah.
So even though the inspection came back perfect,
Yeah.
the realtor was saying this is like
A great
a
buy.
great deal. Our We had a long conversation with our lender about all these different options that will make it really super affordable for us and super doable. But it just felt like no, they're all gonna get us and we're gonna get into a house and then we're trapped and then we're gonna file for bankruptcy next year.
So the two feelings I'm going to say are imposter syndrome, but also impending disaster.
Yes. Oh, and then we are also thinking about like, oh, one of us are gonna lose our jobs, and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, well, I
It
mean, and
can't possibly go this well.
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So all right. I want you to just feel that feeling, keep feeling that feeling, and you labeled it. Now tell me where, and the third letter PLA, what area of your body do you feel that feeling? And this is mindfulness that we're doing here, where you just sort of take a step back from your emotions and observe them. So where do you feel that feeling? You guys went into like 2 days of anxiety. Where were you feeling it?
It's like my limbs are numb.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
So
I
everything
think
is in here because you kind of go numb on the outside.
yeah, so I'm feeling tight in my chest.
Yeah.
Like the pit of my stomach hurts a little bit.
And a little paralyzed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Wow.
like on the edge of like an emotional breakdown. Like
Wow.
any little thing would set me off, you
Just
know.
very, yeah, very
Like I had a moment at work on Tuesday where I said something like a little bit, the way it came, I wasn't meaning to be mean, but the way it came out was sort of like not the way I intended, and it might have sounded a little more mean than I meant it to sound to my something I said to my coworker. And I immediately got like anxious and I'm like, she hates me. That was so embarrassing. I felt my face flush.
flush.
I think it was all because I was like, I was
Oh,
operating at level 99.9%.
yeah.
And all it took was one little thought to like push me
Wow.
to this place where then I was breathing really shallow during
Oh,
the during my work week, my work
I thought
day.
that was actually a good thing to breathe shallow like that, and I totally wasn't. All right, so the area is your chest, your limbs went numb. Give me a number of intensity. So it's PLAI intensity, 1 to 10. Where, what intensity was that emotion?
I mean, just historical data on my own anxiety
Yeah,
levels. I think it
yeah.
was probably an 8.
Okay. So it was up there, but
Yeah.
it wasn't all the way to the top. Okay.
No.
And then the last part of this is narrate. So I want you to give that emotion a voice. Do you remember when you were a little girl and you said, Mommy, if we had a voice but no mouth, could we talk? Well, I want you to put a mouth on that feeling and give it a voice. And I'm going to ask it several questions. Let it talk, okay? Don't think too hard. Just let it talk. We're looking for core beliefs here. And
Okay.
core beliefs are like emotional beliefs. So we bring them up into our conscious awareness and then we start to shape them differently. But we need to know what they are first. So here's the question. What does that emotion, if that emotion could talk, what would it say about you? Don't think too hard. What would it say about you? I am.
I am a hot mess.
Okay. What does it say about the future?
I am
The future, in the future, this will happen.
sure everything is gonna fall apart.
Right.
You are unable to keep a house
You
that
can't
is
handle it.
beyond your scope of
Right.
skill. Yeah.
And what does it say about other people?
Other people, everyone else is out to get you, but also way better at everything than you. Like both of those things somehow.
Yes. Everybody's together and we're not. And then,
Yeah.
what does it say about God?
Uh, absent.
Yeah. So these are your core beliefs that, number one, your core belief about yourself is that you're not able to manage. You don't have what other people have that make them capable of having a decent life and a nice house. And your core belief about other people is that they're not generally of goodwill and they're all over here indifferent or even cruel towards you, and you're over here on your own. And then the third core belief would be the future is impending doom and everything's going to fall apart. It can't possibly be good. And then the fourth core belief is that God doesn't care.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is, and we're going to close out of this exercise because I think we've gone on for a while, but what I would do now with her is I would write down those core beliefs and we would reconsider them. So, well, let's just do it real quick. So the core belief about you is that you're somehow inferior to everyone else. Like you can't do this normal life, having a decent house and decency. You can't do that, whereas other people can. Let's reshape that. Is that true? No, it's not true. You're a hardworking girl. Both of you are hardworking people. You're both talented and
Yeah.
gifted, just like other people are gifted. Like, and there are people with more gifts than you have and less gifts. Everything isn't a perfectly level playing field, but you're not at the bottom of the pile of humanity here.
Okay.
Do you not like thinking differently?
Oh, I do. That this is just a hard one.
Yeah, okay. And then the thing about other people, is it true that, doesn't society work in such a way that people do nice things for each other because that makes the whole system work? And so there are some people of goodwill,
Yeah.
and they're not necessarily like your savior, but they're decent human beings and they're going to try to make you happy because that's part of their whole satisfaction in life, right?
This is true.
All right, I
Yeah.
want you to work on the third one, which is the future. Everything's going to fall apart. It's all going to blow up in my face. Tell me the truth about that.
Well, the truth is the home has been very thoughtfully renovated,
Mhm.
thoroughly inspected, and likelihood of the house itself falling apart is very small. We have taken all possible measures
Uh-huh.
that we personally can make
Me
to
too.
make sure that we are making a good choice in this home.
Okay.
Um, so
And do
the
things sometimes go well, Allie? I mean, just sometimes things just work.
and like if we're just looking at it percentage wise, we're 99% sure, 99.9999 that this house isn't gonna immediately fall apart.
Yeah.
And then, as far as like I'm concerned, the likelihood of me losing my job is so small also. And John, we both work for basically in education, so that's not going away anytime soon. Everyone needs education. So, we have somewhat stable jobs and skills that are
Okay.
transferable to other fields, even if somehow that these jobs went away.
Okay. And then let's take the last one, God being apathetic. Is he
Well,
apathetic?
we found this house that's perfect for us. So I
Yeah.
guess probably not.
So
That's
I know for me, it's like my view of God has at times been very, like he doesn't care about the temporal aspects of our happiness. Like all he cares about is spirituality and that we're saved and all this spiritual stuff. But, having a nice house that he's just kind of like, why does that matter? But that's not true because God actually cares about our happiness and he wants us to have nice houses. He wishes every person in the world had a nice, lovely, beautiful home that they could call their own. If he could give that to every person, he would. It's human greed that gets in the way, but
mm,
he would love every person to have that. So he cares about stuff like that more than we do sometimes. He wants more for us than we want for ourselves. So, anyway, I shouldn't have done that work for you, but you did excellent. And thank you so much for working with me on this. P.L.A.I.N. I'll put some notes in the text part of this. And Allison, how are you feeling?
it.
Pretty good? Was it helpful?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.